go to the Chiefs-Dolphins game. Grant, I'll let you take the lead on this since it was your team. So fire away here.
Yeah,
Your thoughts on the Chiefs-Dolphins game? Fourth coldest game in NFL history.
So this is just me, and after this last weekend and watching football teams and watching some teams just absolutely implode and some teams stick together. After this weekend, guys, it shows you the importance of coaching and culture in the NFL. One team in this game had a coach that was a Super Bowl champion. He's a football lifer. He's an old school guy, believes in fundamentals, practicing hard, and being physical and dominating your opponent and letting them know you're here. Another one was a flashy guy who wants to wear cool shoes on the sideline, wear sunglasses, and be liked on the internet.
Capris too.
And wear capris. Well, that coach's team looked like the tennis players played the football team and they got their ass kicked. So coaching wins once again in this league. But, again, guys, being all serious now, it comes down to what the strength the strength of the Chiefs team was all year, and it's this defense. They're a top 3 unit in this league. It's crazy. Had they not had the 2 fumbles against the Raiders and the pick 6 against the Lions in week 1 that counted against them, they'd be the number 1 defense in the league for scoring this year. That's a little fun fact for you. But they dominated the Dolphins. They got in their face. They besides the one play where Tyreek was in motion and he just ran by McDuffie, they owned the line of scrimmage. The Dolphins weren't able to get their running game set up. The pass rush was getting home. Tua was getting uncomfortable. So they continued to do their thing. Again, they got 2 sacks on the day. But another thing that I finally like, especially over the Cincinnati game and the end of the regular season and this game now, the Chiefs are finally buying into who they are this year.
Yeah.
It's not 2018 to 2022. Again, it's the 2014 team to 2016. Run the ball at the line of scrimmage, play action passes, get your receivers on some shallow routes, let them get the yards after the catch. They're finally embracing who they are, and they have that confidence back to them. They feel like, hey, you know what? We know this is who we can be, and we're a dangerous team, going forward. And Rashee Rice coming on of late is huge, and Pat's got that confidence back, and it's a sight to see. And this is a dangerous team. They're getting hot at the right time for them, and the rest of the NFL maybe doesn't want to see it. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they kind of got 2020 Bucks written all over them right now. A slow start to the year. People are worried. Players and coaches aren't getting along. But then they find their groove late. And let's see if they can, keep this thing going this week going forward.
Yeah, and I think that game, it was you could just tell right away from the opening kick which team wanted to be there, which one didn't. Mm-hmm. And I think the way this game played out, where it was the Chiefs, it was be aggressive early or be cautiously aggressive early, get out, get a lead. And after that, they looked across the sideline. It was similar to like when good teams would play Iowa. It was like, let's get a lead. Let's not give them any hope. Let's be conservative. Field goals will win this game. And just make sure we get out of here with a win and healthy and going into the next round.
I just think it was so obvious Tua cannot play in the cold.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was so bad. I mean, the touchdown wasn't even a good throw. Like it was underthrown by.
It was an underthrow.
Yards, like, completely. If even if the pass interference, like shit, like he had no rhythm, no timing, nothing. Like he completely missed throws, and that's really what sets up their run game, is being able to be explosive in the passing game, and it just didn't happen.
And they never really even tried to establish the run at all, which with Achane and Mostert both back there and healthy, I was surprised that they didn't. I think that's just some of Mike McDaniel trying to be too cute, and probably the most frustrating thing if you are a Dolphins fan, because he was hired because he was the run game coordinator and the czar of the run game in San Francisco. And it's just when you need it there, when you need them to run the ball, they just are not able to do it. They just are not a tough team. I think I don't know. Mark Schlereth was talking about it a while back on his podcast. He was talking about how There are certain teams that, based off where they are located, they will never win a Super Bowl, and that's a place like Miami because, you look at a place like a Kansas City or a place that Buffalo,
Even
Cincinnati,
Cincinnati, yeah.
where it gets cold, it gets miserable, it's just not fun. So you don't really have much choice to do other than bury yourself in the playbook or bury yourself in the film room and watch film and learn and get better. Where, we live in Miami. We got beautiful women that don't wear a lot of clothes. We have beautiful weather. There's so much more to do. And I mean, the state of Florida has about 2 seasons. There's just way too many distractions to where it's tough to build a perennial winner in Miami, which, to Mike McDaniel's credit, he has gotten them to the playoffs back-to-back years, but to get them over the hump, they've got to find a way to get something mean. And I think Mike McDaniels is a likable guy. I enjoyed this season of Hard Knocks, but I don't know if he needs to bring in an offensive coordinator to take over play calling and where he can just take on that CEO role, because I think if the Dolphins don't go at least win a playoff game next year, I wouldn't be shocked if they try to move on from him. And maybe Mike McDaniel's just an offensive coordinator, which I kind of have. I don't want to believe that about him, but that's the kind of the way my thinking is trending, is that he's just an offensive coordinator. But we don't really, and maybe he is, because he wasn't the one calling the plays in San Francisco.
Dylan, I will say this. Had the Dolphins not fired Brian Flores, and had he inherited Tyreek Hill and this team, that I'm not saying they win, but that game's a hell of a lot closer.
Yeah.
And that game last year in Buffalo, the regular season game and the playoff game, they win that game. When Brian Flores is your head coach, they don't lose to Tennessee at home. So where I'm going with that is I think the culture is just off in Miami. It's based too much of like the city. We're going to talk about Detroit here coming up. They took on the identity of their team. You could argue the Chiefs have the identity of Kansas City, blue collar, Midwest, bring your lunch pail to work, let's get after it. The Patriots with Belichick. Boston, I'm sure, is a great city, but not many people are clamoring, hey, let's go on vacation to Boston. There's so much to do up here. It's where the country was founded, with the Patriots there and the hard work and the attitude that Belichick brought. So McDaniel, I think he needs to implement some toughness and change this culture, because if not, then they're just going to be this fast, loose, finesse team that's awesome September to mid-November, but anytime you get after Veterans Day, when the real football starts, that's just not who he is.
And I think, that, and, Mike Lombardi talks about it all the time, is, you look at like those Colts teams over the years is that they had to go and win in their own stadium, where Lombardi said that if he ever had a chance to be a GM again, he would want to build a team. If he had an indoor team, build them with that outdoor toughness, because that's if you want to go far, that's the type of attitude you have to go make it to the Super Bowl and advance deep, make a deep playoff run.